Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Talk to Me. I'm your host, Cassandra Hurley, psychic medium, life coach, and celebrity life coach. So today I have another special guest here for you. This is my love, Raylee.
Hi guys.
She is an influencer and soon to start her own podcast as well. Also a makeup artist. So we thought we'd do something a little bit different. So as I interview my guest, she's actually going to do my makeup, and if you want to go ahead and just tell them a little bit about yourself.
Hi guys, how's it going? My name is Raylee. I'm 25 years old. I'm a trans girl. I met Cassandra back in 2021.
Yeah, when I was still working at the liquor store.
And it was like we connected right away. Like the energy was just there. And then we continue to talk like over social media.
Yeah, you actually, when I first started my business, you were one of my first clients who came to me for a reading too.
Mm-hmm. And you were doing my readings. We were like very close at that point. And then we did like distance ourselves a little bit just because of life and like being busy. And now we're here back together and we're about to be talking about many things that not a lot of people talk about, I guess.
Absolutely.
Period.
So honestly, let's kind of dive right in here and let's start this. And then I just wanted to like ask you a few life questions if you're comfortable and okay with it.
Yeah.
So if you want to tell the viewers too, so I know it's really hard and people definitely have the stigma and the struggles, especially growing up trans. Now, if you don't mind me asking, first of all, how old were you? Was it something that you felt within yourself, or you just always knew that you were different? Or kind of explain that to me in your journey.
I have always felt different. I have always not identified with myself, if that makes sense. But when you're young, you don't really know. You can't really conceptualize it in your brain what's wrong. So you're just like, something's off.
Yeah.
And then as you grow older, like you start to like notice more and more and more. And life also just shows you like a bunch of things. But basically being transgender is we experience gender dysphoria.
Okay, so explain that a little bit to me.
Gender dysphoria is like, you know when you're depressed, there's not enough serotonin in your brain, right?
Okay.
And you feel the effects of it. When you have gender dysphoria, it's basically, this is not you. Like
Is it like your soul doesn't necessarily
Yeah,
resonate with your vessel?
Exactly. You're just not connected and aligned with who you are. And it's like, they create stories about transgender. Well,
The stigma.
Yeah. Well, long story short, I grew up Christian
Okay.
in Brazil. So it was my family, my mom, she's Christian or whatever. So I grew up in church, like until I was 18, like 17, I had to go to church every single Sunday.
So when you went to church, if you don't mind me asking, did you feel like out of place? Did you feel like people weren't going to get you?
I have always felt out of place in the world. And in my healing journey, I was like, why is that? And I was like, okay, because when you're growing up, like your brain, literally like your brain is growing up, it's always looking for cues and always looking for something that you identify with.
Right. To make you feel almost at home type of thing.
Exactly. Like, I exist. There are people like me. And I grew up in a world where there wasn't any of that.
Yeah, I felt that.
And I moved to America when I was 15. Little background. The area that I grew up in Brazil, it was a nice area. I went to private school, but it was Christian. It was mostly white and Republican.
Yeah, I felt that, yeah.
So I have always been, well, back then, the gay guy, I have always been the only gay guy in the environment.
So no one really understood you.
Exactly. And like, it's almost like you're unique, but there's nothing around you that really reminds you of you.
Yeah, it's just like that disconnection again.
Exactly.
And a lot of people don't vibe with that, but I'm sure, like, have you met other people, or do you have certain role models that help you, like, come out?
Yeah, nowadays, yeah. Well, women have always been, again, cis women.
Yeah.
And at
Make
this
sure you're
point,
talking to the mic too, baby.
Okay.
It's okay, he'll cut it out.
Nowadays, like, trans women, because you learn how to look at one point that you become conscious and you become comfortable with who you are, and that's just part of who you are and not your whole identity. And people are still trying to understand it,
Mm-hmm.
and you're still trying to understand it. So women was the closest that I related to, and I grew up around amazing, amazing women that are being very supportive throughout this journey, including the women in my family.
If you want to get anybody a shout out,
Well, shout out to my mom. I love her, period.
we love
You know?
supportive mothers.
Yeah, she's getting there. You know, she, as I said, she's a church lady, but
Well, I know that you told me family was also very important to you. That was,
Huh?
you had told me at one point, like family, your family unit is very, very important to you in growing up.
yes, because it was an adjustment for them. I'm not gonna say it's all rainbows because it's not. It wasn't. But I felt very loved. The reason being because in my family we're all very different. So my mom is married. My mom's a Christian since I was
Born, basically.
born. Yeah,
Yeah.
so like 25 years. I know her. My first very memory of her as a child was, oh, we're Christian. You know what I mean? And once I was not Christian anymore, I still have to go to church every Sunday. So
Did you get a lot of shit for that too?
yeah, if I didn't go, I wouldn't be able to go out on Fridays and Saturdays.
And
I
the
was
girl
like,
has to go out. so-
Period. You're puberty girl. You know how it is. But anyways, and then I had to go to church on Sunday so I could go out and then following Friday and Saturday. So like I know the word.
Yeah.
But once you realize that, oh, I don't agree with everything that's here, I recognize that this is a system. It's a beautiful story. But then you study
And then you
everything-
realize.
everything that people don't mention and behind it in the way that it's used as a tactic to influence people in society.
And
You're
real
like,
quick, I'm gonna tell you too, because I have spoke about this and about the Bible. I believe, and everybody knows I resonate with God and Jesus, but at the same time, I feel like it is dividing us. And then it also talks about love thy neighbor, but then at the end of the day, are people really trying to step into your shoes? And are they actually, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, it's the moral of it and the principality of it. It's a beautiful, obviously, I'm not like, okay, whatever the Bible. But I will say, at the end of the day, I feel like it just divides us. And I feel like what you do, and you have like a beautiful group of friends too, and you just always look so loved and happy, and you shine in your energy. Even the day that I met you, it was before, obviously, you were in the trans. If I'm saying something incorrectly, please tell me too. I know you were in the process, and it's just like watching you grow and like succeed and the energy. And I just really feel like you're going to be such a positive influence to other people. And let's get started with this too when we're
Right.
thinking about it. And I want to have a little bit of girl talk here because, I'm sorry, baby.
It's okay.
I know at one point you were telling me about the bathroom thing and everything too, and how you felt most comfortable. And I know you had a few crazy stories too. I think it was like the Uber thing.
I do have a couple of stories. I do have a couple of stories about bathrooms.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
You got it, girl.
I know.
Be loud and proud.
Period. And no, it's just because I have to like do your makeup and I have to concentrate here in the mic.
We're both ADD as fuck, but it's fine.
Period. So we were talking about something before. Did I finish what I was saying?
So basically the Bible, and we were talking about, it's a good moral, or, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
so I felt very loved because, it's my mom's religion. And she, in her brain, somehow, she needed to find a place to reconcile these two versions. It's my child. My religion says something, but I live with this person. I know who this person is. I have always lived with this person. It's not like it's happening now.
Yeah.
So the fact that she could separate this, and I feel very privileged and very loved because a lot of people don't
Have that openness or
Yes.
acceptance in their life with
exactly.
families. Yeah.
And I feel for them. I have empathy for them. But at the same time, I am also thankful because it really helps you. Like, it really helps you once you're transitioning because it's like, people think that you wake up and you're like, oh my God, I want to be a girl. Yes. I
Yeah.
want to be
It's a process.
rejected and I want to suffer transphobia and I want to, it's weird.
It's crazy.
Like, I have to, like, when I think of it, like, only I know what's going on in my head, but I'm still able to understand the other side, and it's, and we are just starting. I feel like we're just starting to understand
And a little bit
this
more
one.
acceptance and the stigma. I wanted to ask you too, because I knew one of my friends who was
Start
also,
the
oh yeah,
makeup.
duh. Okay.
Do you want to get closer to me?
Yes, honey, yes. Let me just move this shit. Okay, so also a big thing that
The
I
hair.
feel like, one thing that I know, like one of my friends who is also trans, she was saying it was really hard. It was really hard for her to actually find like a good job without being judged about being a woman and who she is and who she feels like she is. So this might be a little bit of a difficult question for you. So what would you say to somebody who is going on the journey but who does not have supportive parents and they feel really alone? What advice would you give to them? Like, if they're completely alone, they're like, okay, I don't resonate with my vessel, it's not matching. What would you say to somebody?
The most important thing is get healthy. Get healthy. Like, I'm talking about each and every way. When I started to understand this, and it's like, come on, like, I'm in my 20s, something is completely wrong. I am able to function in society. I study, I work. I have a good relationship with my family. I have a good relationship with my friends. Well, back then I had like some toxic relationship.
Okay.
But then you understand that
Like
you
a
attract,
relationship or
no,
friendship?
like relationships.
Okay.
And I was like in a pattern of constantly being in toxic relationships.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't really call them like serious relationships,
Yeah.
but like
Like a
situationships.
karmatic partners and learning that lesson over and over
Right.
again until,
Like situationships. Everything in my life, like, I have had rough times in my life. I did have traumas in my childhood, but I'm healed. I'm healed from a lot of it, and everything good happening, like, and you have access to resources, but you still feel unaligned with
Yeah.
who you, and like deep down, what it is. So get healthy. My advice would be you have to get healthy mentally, physically, start working out, quit any, I stopped drinking when I realized this. I stopped fucking. I was like, no.
Do tell.
Everybody gotta go. I need time for myself. I need to understand it. I need to get in contact with my soul and spirit. So
The sexual part, I also tell a lot of people and clients that sexual energy and
Is-
transferring of energy is very fucking real.
very, very, very fucking real. So it's been a year and 8 months. You know what I mean?
High five.
Period. That she doesn't let anybody touch her. Just because I needed to understand myself.
Absolutely.
And I was like, nah. And alkaline diet, if you guys want to look it up, the alkaline diet to make our blood more alkaline. Alkaline basically means not acidic. So when we're born, babies are very alkaline. That's why they're fucking perfect. And like baby skin, that's why they say baby skin, whatever. And in college, I was depressed in college. Like, my friends or somebody who might be watching this, like, oh, you didn't seem like it. I really didn't seem like it. Like, oh, I have always been the life of the party. I have always been talkative, like, with my friends. I've always been comfortable with myself. You know what I mean? I've always
Depression runs
partied.
deep, though.
Yeah, I've always partied way too much. But once I was like, okay, I can't no longer function through my ego. And
That fucking one right there.
Yeah.
Thank you. Please, if you could, real quick, speak your piece on that ego part.
Because when you're not happy and you're pretending to be happy,
Fake it till you make it.
exactly. You gotta find out how to keep playing that character.
Right.
So you start to utilizing your ego,
Your avatar, your vessel, instead of
a
your
lot.
soul. Mhm.
I need alcohol to. I need to. I'm gonna go out and be social, but I need the alcohol. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I did not have a problem quitting alcohol. And once you're thinking with yourself, it's like, oh my gosh, like I really don't like the taste of this. I really don't
Not only that, they
Yeah.
call it beer, wine, and spirits for a reason.
And then I started to understand more about spirituality, about God, because even though
God
the-
is within us.
exactly,
our
even the
soul.
religion that I grew up in, when you hear so much that's against God, and you're like, I feel the connection though.
Yeah.
Like you can't take
You know
you
it's
can't
not
take faith
bad
away from
either.
it.
Exactly. Exactly.
You can say whatever you want. You can say, you can judge. You can say that I have the devil in me, but I know the connection that I have, and I know faith. And it's like your brain. It's almost like always looking for cues that you're not the devil.
Trust me, when I came out, I was like 16 years old, and I don't know if I ever told you this, but I had my first girlfriend, and my dad's Pentecostal. So I was so terrified. I told my mother, and we didn't know how my dad was going to take it. And then I was like, yeah, I'm gay. Like, I have a girlfriend, da 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 da. Mind you, I was only 16 years old. And he was like, that's the devil. He literally stopped talking to me completely. Was going to cut me off, whatever, until I got like a boyfriend again. And that shit hurt me because growing up as an adult, especially me being bisexual, I'm just like, oh my God, I don't want to hide who I am. You know, and do
It's
you
the
ever...
worst thing ever to
Yeah.
hide who you are and become conscious that you're hiding who you are because of a fear
Because
that
we
they
are
created in your
brainwashed.
head.
Exactly.
Like, it doesn't even exist. That fear. it
Fear is
doesn't
an
exist.
illusion.
You know, because once you start to realize there are people in the world that actually love me for who I am and they don't really care. These people did not grow up with me. These people do not have my DNA, and they love me. I feel loved.
love you.
I feel loved by my friends, and like you're one of them. I feel loved by my network of people in terms of like jobs and everything. You were talking about jobs. I was very blessed. When I started the transition, I was a coordinator in Sephora, and it was the best environment ever. They made me feel very comfortable, very loving. The people there respect, like, it was, I felt like my inner child was so happy, and it was like, oh my God, here I can play, I can be me, and I can be, you know.
Shine, don't
So-
dim your light for other fucking people like you've had to probably most of your life, too.
And it's a very good company to work with. The people there, the people that I learned from, the people that gave me a chance, the people that taught me. And yeah, thank you. And I'm sorry if I did.
Oh, girl, you're fine. This is what I'm here for, honey.
Yeah.
We're getting to know Raylee in a
Yes.
very comfortable environment. Obviously, I clearly don't give a fuck. We're doing makeup, and you know what we are about to try here. And make sure that you guys check out Legally Highest at legallyhighest.com. Now, if you use the promo code POLY20, you get 20% off of your dopest THC seltzer alive.
Period.
Tell them Cassie sent you.
I'm so excited to try it.
I'm not even gonna lie, this shit will catch up with you a little bit, but it'll help you. It's good, trust me.
Let's
I do
go
higher
slow.
self sessions, and I'm always like, hi, this shit is perfect.
Okay. Continuing. Where were we?
Well, I actually
I
wanted
would
to-
say, no, I really want to emphasize this for my people. Like, if you're starting now, get healthy. Like, quit vaping, quit weed. I quit everything, Cassandra, because I was at a point in my life that I was like, nothing fucking makes sense. I see everyone's character. I see everyone's mask.
Do you think that was part of your spiritual awakening too, when you were
Oh,
aligned
hell yeah. I
with
can
your
vividly
soul?
remember, like, this is not right. And then you start to understand society.
The synchronicities.
Exactly. You start to understand how society works and how it's not fair. And at the same time, you have to keep the mantra in your head that you're not a victim. Like, I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim of the world. And I'm not going to let those who may be comfortable with my existence to make me feel like a victim, because that's what they want us to feel. They want to
Abso-fucking-lutely.
victimize us.
Say it louder, baby, for the people in the
Period.
back.
We're not. If they have a problem with us, it's because we can make a difference.
Exactly.
And if they have that's what was pissing me off the most. Oh, it seems like the men who seem to have a problem with us, because women, if you
We're all
see,
in this together,
if you
like-
see like people fighting over bathrooms, it's always a man instigating and fueling that fire. It's never a woman who's uncomfortable, who is part of the conversation, but the man is not part of the conversation. They don't use the female bathroom. You know what I mean? And it's always them starting it.
Do you ever have you had like specific issues that like a story, a time that it was just like,
No, I see it on I see it on TV, and that was something that like I needed to understand as well. I was like, what people watch on TV about transgender people, the amount of transgender people in the world, y'all could fuck us up. Y'all could fuck us up. We're not that many. It's like less than 2%. It's the same amount, but it's still the same amount of red hair people.
right?
So imagine if red hair people, when they like were considered improper, was considered
Automatically that stigma,
Kill them?
that judgment.
What are you gonna do? Kill them because they're not brunette or blonde? What are you gonna do? Like kill us? Like, I am tired of. When I started transitioning, I fell into a hole of trying to explain my existence to myself and
that's
to everybody.
not okay.
Like,
You shouldn't have to prove anything.
Imagine
to
like you're in
anyone.
your 20s, like you realize that you didn't live life. It's like I live life. I have memories from the past, but you're like, damn. It's almost like those experiences were hijacked because it was a character experiencing them. You know what I mean? Now that I'm aware, I know how.
The avatar. Now you're connected with your soul.
Exactly. And once you become aware of that, you get very pissed.
Oh yeah.
You get very
Oh
pissed.
yeah. Well, it's just like the spiritual ones who are awakened and those sleepers. But I feel like you're one of those people who will help activate somebody's soul so they can recognize, okay, we've all been brainwashed pretty much, and I say this all the time. I feel like everything that we have learned growing up is a lie. And then the truth, it's just like everything is so fucking ass backwards. And it's like those who get it. Those who don't. But I'm very proud of you for recognizing that and connecting not only with your higher self, your soul, but being able to look in the mirror and be like, oh my God, this is who I am. And I'm proud of it. And I don't give a fuck what other people think. And that energy is so beautiful. It's so genuine. And girl, I'm gonna tell you right now, because let me just tell you, you better start drinking your drink.
Period.
Because
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
over here about to get a little high and give you a little higher self session.
Let's rate it.
That one's pineapple. I think last time I had lime. Lime is pretty fucking good too. Pineapple's pretty
There's
good.
no sugar. Period.
Actually, I didn't know that, so good job, guys.
And it tastes good it tastes good.
I would rate this one, honestly, I really like the lime. This one is not too bad because I do like pineapple. I'd give it probably about an 8 or so. Oh, also, anyone again, Polly20 for 20% off, legallyhighest.com, and follow them on Instagram, legallyhighest.
Period. I feel it already a little bit.
Yeah, it's fine. It'll wear off or whatever.
Everything hits me very fast.
Honey, me too. I'm such a
Especially
lightweight.
after
I can't
I
even drink
changed
anymore.
my lifestyle.
When I drink now, I'm like hungover for 2 fucking days. Like I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, I can't.
But one thing I wanted to ask you too. So I know that there was something in the news about the Olympian who was also
Trans.
trans. So how do you feel as far as, what's your opinion on that? Do you feel like she should, because it's, let me make sure I'm using the right pronouns. So she's a she,
Yeah.
but how people feel about growing up as a male, but then transitioning. And obviously you have like hormones, so it makes you a female, like, but do you feel like it's fair or what is your thoughts on that whole thing?
What are my thoughts?
And what was her name?
Leah Thomas.
Leah Thomas?
I think, yeah, Leah Thomas.
We might have to Google that shit right quick because we're not
I
trying
don't
to
think
fuck
it's,
shit up.
I don't think it's Thomas or Thompson, but it's, yeah.
But I do remember that being like a big ass debate. And they were, it was fucked up because I looked
These
on
guys are
TikTok.
really hot.
I told you, I can't wear hoodies, nothing in the shit. All the shit is like, ugh. But, shit. Oh, yeah, I saw this thing on TikTok or whatever. And it was a trans woman. You know, I saw a lot of women giving her hate because of the fact that she was in process of, like, transitioning or whatever. And women
Leah?
were like, no, this was somebody on TikTok, but they brought up the Olympian and things like that, too. There was, like, this big-ass debate. Some people are for it. Other people are like, no, I don't think that's
Okay,
fair.
so let me say what I think. I posted that on the internet yesterday because my couple of friends were asking me about my opinion, and I feel like because I experienced this is part of my reality, and it's very trendy, the whole transsexuality thing, because I feel like as we are evolving, a lot of people feel more comfortable and more courageous to come out, and we have more resources that help us to transition and experience the world in a healthier and better way for us. I don't think, okay, but my opinion is I don't think she should be competing with cis women.
Okay.
The reason being is because she specifically started transitioning when she was 28 years old.
Okay.
Right? I began when I was 23. She experienced male puberty.
Okay.
Her vessel was fully developed
As a man.
as a male,
Okay.
even though she doesn't identify with this gender. That's what it's so. It's a little hard for us to try to explain to people because it's the same thing as trying to explain faith. You can't see faith, but you feel it, right?
Yeah.
And you have a connection with it. It's the same idea with gender, but it's very hard for people to grasp this idea because
Yeah.
they can't experience it. And when you say that, when you start this conversation with somebody who does not agree with it at all, it's almost like you're taking their gravity away and they can't ground themselves. So their brain will look for any type of argument, even if it hurts the next bitch,
Yeah.
to ground themselves. Oh, you're making me too comfortable. This is too much for my
Reality.
brain to understand, literally. And the brain is a muscle. No. And so her body grew up as a male, just like mine.
Okay.
I experienced male puberty. I have always been active. I have always been an athlete when I was a kid. I have always worked out. You probably have seen pictures in my
Yeah.
Instagram before. I did not stop working out.
You're
I
on
did
it every
not-
day,
I
baby
did
girl.
not-
Like every day, too. I love
Yeah.
it.
And I did not feel any weakness, physical strength. Like I didn't realize any change. Have always been consistent with the gym.
So do you
the
think
fact
it
because of
gives,
the
like,
fact
an
that she
advantage?
grew up a male, and there's something called muscle memory. If you're into the gym, whatever, like when you're trying to grow muscles or whatever, there's muscle memory in the brain everywhere. You are memory. We are a group of memories that we experience in our experiences. And our that's why it's called muscle memory. When you're under a lot of cortisol and your fight or flight system activates in your brain, your animal side comes out. You have no idea what the fuck you're gonna do. And
Like
I
that
know for a fact,
PTSD, and it's like, boom, next crazy bitch.
period. I know for a fact how I get when that's activated.
I can literally see it already. I'm like, okay.
Period.
We love that, though.
Yeah, I have bitten some men up. Not gonna lie, in the past.
I'm sure they deserved it, honey. So I'm sure they deserved it.
And it's not healthy, and it's part of the past.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go back to that version.
I felt that. But it's good that you can recognize within yourself, okay, this is how I used to be. I don't like that version of me. These are my toxic traits. This is something that I'm trying to heal from, and you keep going. Because like you said about those toxic relationships too, it's very much in the same. You have to recognize, okay, I want better for myself, so I need to stop doing A, B, C and start getting into this routine of people.
Exactly. So I don't agree just because of that. You know what I mean? We do.
But if if I'm understanding correctly, so like she was physically born a man. So
She was
her
born a
going
male. She was
through
born a
puberty
male.
makes her like stronger. Or, like, what if they're
Her
using hormones?
muscles experienced. My point is, her muscle experienced puberty, and she developed her vessel entirely as a man.
Okay, so it would be like an
So
advantage technically.
I can speak for my existence, but the hormones didn't really. They changed me physically a little bit, and they're still working on it. I don't have any surgeries or anything, but my strength physically didn't really change. That's my experience. I don't know about hers. I don't know about anybody else's, but
Bad bitch, love it.
she was an athlete.
Yeah.
She is an athlete. You know what I mean? So like your muscle, when you are undergoing all of the chemicals, when you are experiencing all of the chemicals in your brain right before you start swimming, it's like, everything's activating, like, and you don't really know. Well, you do know, like her her muscles remember that. You know
Yeah,
what I
okay,
mean?
that makes
And
sense.
you, like, for example, your whole life you have never had high amounts of testosterone.
Correct.
So your muscles don't have the access to those
Like
memories,
that
that
muscle
strength.
that I, yeah.
And especially when you're a male athlete, your whole life, and then you transition, it's already there. Like
Yeah.
the memory is already there in your muscles. You know, I feel for her. I have empathy for her. But not unfortunately, but like we have to compromise and be a little bit logical.
Yeah,
too,
I
you know what I
agree.
mean? And we're on Earth together. We're not going anywhere. Y'all not going anywhere if you are
Period.
uncomfortable with my existence. So
It's all love over here. So anybody who watches
I
this
was
shit,
like,
it's all
okay,
love.
now you are in the process of really getting healed. It's when you start to forgive the people who are completely against your existence.
Do you have to
they
deal
are
with a lot of that?
Huh?
Do you have to deal with a lot of that, or not really?
As I said, my family. I'm very blessed for my family. I am very blessed for my friends. I have never experienced transphobia, homophobia, but I have also
Explain
not.
that to me, the transphobia, because I don't think, like, yeah. So it's just
I
like,
have never somebody has never cursed me out for being trans,
Oh,
but
okay.
also
I will literally fucking hex them or
I-
beat their ass, so just so you know.
since I started transitioning, I kept myself to myself a little bit
Yeah.
more. As a gay guy, yes, I experienced homophobia. Like people will say things when you're walking, like on the streets, whatever. Nothing physical.
Thank
But
God.
nobody has ever like cursed me out for being trans. Let me finish my thought on Leah. But I don't think that the fact that she admitting to herself that, I don't think it makes her less of a woman. And I really feel that her reputation and her whole development as a human being, if she was being a pioneer on building a team of trans swimmers,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
That would be fucking phenomenal.
Yeah,
Why
because
don't they
I
have
want
that?
I want my category. Why do I want to compete with women?
Okay, so
Cis
back to
women.
human rights. We need to figure out this shit because honestly, that would be like top tier to have y'all's own category. To be honest,
Yeah,
because it's just
but we
too
don't
much
have enough
bullshit.
transgender people to build a whole Olympics around.
But
you know,
maybe they just haven't came out yet.
exactly.
So-
I believe that in the future, everything's going to be fixed. But we are undergoing this transition right now. You know what I mean? If you take if we take ourselves back to the 1800s, it was a transition.
Right,
You know what I mean?
absolutely. Well, even
Black people
with,
weren't respected.
That's
back
what I was
then.
literally about to say. Because me
They
being
weren't seeing-
biracial,
it's the
black
same
and
thing
white,
happening again.
But with this, exactly,
But
literally.
and I'm living it, and I'm livid.
Oh, honey,
but
we're
like,
gonna be in the history books.
But as I said, the purest proof of, oh my God, you are getting healed is when you start. First, you have in my healing process I had where I was very livid, I let wrath take over.
Right, the ego part that you were talking
Yes.
about.
Like this is fucked up, you know what I mean? And then you heal a little bit more, and you're like the answer is to forgive and love. Like that's what Jesus is saying, right? So I'm gonna act just like Jesus. You tell me that I can't be part of that whole like whatever garden or whatever like heaven. I can go to heaven, but I'm going to mimic Jesus then. Like you just act how you feel on the inside, what's right for you, and also you don't get caught up in hate, because I can't live my life hating the church. I can't live my life when there are people that I love that are a part of this system.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I really deeply feel like love can heal anything. So I was like, okay, I'm going to forgive religion. I'm going to forgive the system that literally brainwashed me into
That
thinking
one, the
that
system.
that I didn't deserve to be, that I was going to be rejected by heaven.
But if you look at religion, it's all literally boom, 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 divided everybody.
Yeah, because it's so funny because a lot of people, there are so many hypocrites, you know, in the system. They'll say they hate us, but they'll fuck us on the low.
Oh,
and they'll
shit.
look for us on the low, and it's like, or they'll watch porn on the low, trans porn, and it's like, how can you live with yourself being that much of a hypocrite? You know,
Deadass.
I consider myself a very courageous person to become who I really am in a world where it's not very welcoming for people like me
Yeah,
sometimes.
that's powerful.
And I'm not victimizing myself. You know what I mean? That's the truth of the situation.
You're speaking your truth.
Exactly. And I don't consider myself a victim. I think I'm strong as fuck for not becoming, you know.
Or not even being like a hateful person,
Yeah,
because
or
if people are
resent-
trying to put it on you,
Exactly.
you're still doing
And
what you
I
have
feel,
to do.
and I was like, damn, because you're at one point, like when you're depressed, you're like, who's going to deal with this? Like, you know what I mean? Nobody can understand.
Yeah.
And then you start to get positive feedback from people when you are transitioning, and you're like, damn, they really see. They can't understand, but they really, like, people, brains connect, eyes connect, and they're like,
Energy.
yeah, and then people, and it's like, damn, it wasn't, I'm not being hated as much as I thought I would, but I still have to stay conscious that there are other realities out there.
Yeah, that one.
And the bathroom experience that I had is that, because the way that people, I feel like sometimes I try to get into their brain, it's like, how do they think it is? Oh my God. How can you speak for my experience?
Exactly.
This person woke up one day and said, I want to change my gender. Woo! It's like, oh my God, yes, I just want to change my gender right now. Like, everybody
don't
talks shit about this.
understand that at
Everybody
all.
talks shit about this. People in politics want to take their rights away, but like, I want to become one.
Yeah.
Like, it's trendy. You know, I want to.
That's how I feel about everybody
I
becoming
wanna-
a witch now. I'm just
yeah,
like,
I
oh,
want to
okay.
become, you know, I want to become.
Doesn't that piss you off?
Huh?
Like, low-key, doesn't that kind of piss you off when you
A
feel
lot.
like people are,
I try
like,
to understand what's
hopping
their
on the
reasoning
trend?
when they're like, what do you think? What do you think? You know, I woke up and I was like, for fun, I'm going to
Yeah.
just
It's
transition.
like I tell people all the time, this vessel that I'm in, I don't know what the fuck, I guess God just had the last body there for me. But all the time, when I talk to people through my soul, my higher self. But I swear to God, my vessel does not match who the fuck I am on the inside. And that's the best way that I
and it
feel.
gets physical. People don't understand. It's not like an abstract thing. It's physical. Like, your muscles are stressed. Like, I have always thought that I was imprisoned. You know,
Yeah.
I have always thought, like, why when you're alone you're somebody, when you're not alone it's like you put such a shell, such like you build a very strong protection.
Yeah, well,
around
that's
you,
like when
and you
people have
can't be
PTSD
yourself.
too,
Yeah.
and you put up that wall, that fight or flight you were talking about too, and it makes things very difficult. But again, the fact that you recognize that is beautiful. And also,
Did we finish Leah? Yeah, so that was my thought on Leah. But I want to emphasize that if you transition before your puberty years, so like 12, 13,
Right.
before hitting puberty, I think they should be considered too. Because what they're going to do, you know?
yeah, that's true, because then you're already getting the
I don't feel
hormones of the
comfortable
woman.
competing with a woman, cis woman physically. And many of them would fuck me up. Like these bodybuilders, they're hot as shit. Like, they would fuck me up. Like, but it's not the majority of cis women, statistically. You know what I mean?
So explain that to the viewers who don't know, like, the proper nouns and stuff, because I remember when you were saying that before, I was like, okay, wait, like, explain, like, cis. That means...
Cisgender, it's you. You
Okay.
were born a woman, and you identify with... It's almost like when you're born, somebody gives you makeup, and you like the gift.
Okay.
Like, you identify with it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I like that. Okay.
When I was born, somebody gave me, I don't know, like a car, a truck. And I was like, damn, it's not the gift that I want.
I felt that.
But it's, yeah, so you identify with what your soul in your brain. That's what
Right.
people don't understand. Your brain
Identifies with your soul. And
your
then it
brain and
reflects your
soul
vessel.
identifies with your vessel.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
And mine never did. And I remember vividly when I was 4, 5, me, every time we were playing when we were kids, I was the sister, I was the mom. Like, and when you're young, there's nothing that can brainwash you into doing that.
Because you haven't
I
gotten
have always
to that
liked
level.
makeup. I have always liked girly things. I've always been this. You know what I mean?
Who you
Hair,
are.
Yeah. And it's like, it's hard for me. I know it's kind of cuckoo to understand. I understand the other point of view. I know it's kind of, because me growing up Christian and in a majority Republican area, I kind of grew up like them too. So it's like,
But what you
I
were
never
taught.
had, I imagine for me, all the stories that I heard around transgenderism were negative. Imagine for me to deal with this disconnection and like, shit, if I become this, what's gonna be of me? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's a process, but though I came up with a very interesting way to try to explain this, because then again, I told you that I felt the last depressive episode that I had before I started transition medically, I went into a rabbit hole of trying to explain myself to myself and like, how can I write like an expose paper, a thesis to explain my existence? And like, when your brain is literally functioning in that way throughout your whole life, it's been 23 years that you're functioning, I need to prove
Retrain
of
your
my
brain.
baby, if you're a high middle class straight cis white male, you're not spending your time trying to explain your existence,
Right.
because everything around you gives you positive cues that your existence is amazing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
That must have been, like,
damn,
so
I'm 23
confusing and
I'm
hard.
like over here like waking up articles, transgenderism in the brain, and people don't understand that when this is a pattern in your brain that's happening, it affects almost every other pillar of your identity, because you're trying to study, you're trying to write something and be focused in the present, and those thoughts are here your entire life. It's not like it's 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. It's
a
an entire
process,
life.
yeah.
That process there. You know, for 23 years, every single second of your life, you're trying to explain yourself to yourself, and how can I explain myself to people? You know, so recently I was like, oh my God, how is it to be transgender if somebody asks me? Imagine that when you're developed, I can only speak for myself because I started transitioning at a certain age. Imagine you're developed, and you know your inner child. You're
Right.
in contact with her, right? Only Cassandra knows who she is when she's laying down by herself and when she's by herself in her
Yeah.
room. You have that childish version of you that you know.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You know? And it's your inner child, which is also your child, and it's your brain.
And it's like you talking to your childhood self to heal those wounds.
It's that
you were
conversation
taught.
that you have in your head.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I already did. Yes.
My brain.
Next time, remind me to bring my cards, and we're gonna do a whole thing.
We were gonna do it.
I know. I forgot them. You didn't remind me. I was like, get the makeup. Next time you come on the show, we're totally doing that.
Okay, and then your with this voice for so long in your head, and when you're a child, you just don't understand the misconnection with it. And it's your brain.
Mm-hmm.
The brain has a gender, and the body has a gender, and I think that that's what people don't grasp. Your brain has the same gender as your body, so
Your
you're
vessel.
aligned. You're cis, right?
Mhm.
My brain did not come male. It's just not male. It just have never been. I'm sorry.
I felt
Um,
that. And also, really quick before we do have to wrap up, I want to be able to tell people, for one, kind of just like the podcast that you are starting, where they can find you. And if you have any other last piece of advice for the viewers, anything that came to mind or something that really helped you for your journey or your struggles or whatever that you would like to tell the public.
So I am building my own podcast with two amazing people that I met 2 years ago. My mentors, they were my mentor. Well, first I worked with them, and then they became my mentors, now friends. Love them to death. Drew and Michael, thank you so much. And it's on personal finance.
Okay.
It's called Rainbows to Riches.
Oh, I love that shit.
This is the logo.
Better than rags to bitches.
This is the logo. Over here, Rainbows to Riches.
Show the people.
I might show them.
Oh, is it a
in
little
a-
too soon? We're
Yeah.
not gonna jinx shit.
Right.
But do you have like
Yeah.
TikTok,
Instagram. My Instagram is thisisr.a.y.lee. This is R.A.Y.Lee.
Bitch, I'll put it all in the link so y'all can follow her.
And Rainbows to Riches is on Instagram. We are still working on finishing up the social media marketing plan, the whole strategies behind it. It is going to be about personal finances, so budgeting, savings.
Oh, I'm a Capricorn. I'm all over that already.
Yeah, so I'm going to let you know so you can let your people know. And did I finish did you understand the child thing?
I do, because that's one thing that I explain to my clients all the time.
You're Cassandra, female woman, and your child is also a woman. You know what I mean? And my child is a woman, it's a girl, it's a female. But I came in a different vessel.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and the child is telling you, come on, that's not the vessel that I fit. You know what I mean? And the way that my brain is developing right now, like everything that I am able to access mentally and experience in my reality after transition is like, damn, it's almost like you turn the colors of the world on and they weren't on before.
Absolutely. Well, I thank you so much for coming and driving all the way over here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And
giving
again,
me the opportunity and giving me the opportunity in sharing your platform to talk about my experience in this earth.
I really do feel like you're going to be such an inspiration to people. Like, honey, I've already seen it years ago when we met, and I'm just so proud of your accomplishments, and I can't wait to even see and be a part of your journey. I'm so blessed to see it, and you keep shining. I don't know if my makeup is done because I can't see my fucking face, but if it looks fucked up,
we got so focused on it that it's really not finished, but you look gorgeous, and let's keep fighting. Let's keep spreading love. Earth is a planet, and everyone should have the same rights to experience living on Earth. Because I feel like a lot of people, Earth is a planet, but they make it like it's not everyone's home. Everyone is in the planet. And
I'm looking at my makeup right now, so we definitely got to finish this before next.
Okay. Are we going to finish?
And be sure to follow my next episode. I will have a very special guest, Angelique Bates. Okay.